What are the Arizona Cardinals' options at quarterback post Kyler Murray? Those have materialized, and do we add one more to the list today after comments from, of course, the NFL Combine? And Johnny, we finally get to sound off on those pesky NFLPA grades that weren't supposed to make it public, but damn it, they did.
Yes, and we love them for that. Plus, Mina Kimes joins the show yesterday. We're going to air it today. Isaiah Simmons, Reese, what's the difference? And is it worth a gamble at pick 3? PHNX Cardinals on a Friday starts now. Hey, welcome in. Live from Studio K, presented by our dear friends at Circle K. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier, #1 in the world, Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable. He is Brack, fresh off a trip to Indianapolis for the 2026 NFL Combine. We even brought Noah back. Sweet Noah behind the Mac today. Great to see everybody. Huge show on a Friday.
Absolutely is. Cannot wait to get into this one. We felt left out of the fun yesterday after we had recorded our show. We were taking in the Combine and we had to hit the road back to AZ. But then there was one last nugget before we got it out of Indy. It was a leak of the NFLPA grades, and Cardinals progress, but not a whole lot. They were taken over by the Pittsburgh Steelers for the worst of the NFLPA team report cards. We're getting into the comments as far as that goes. But first, what's going on, everybody in the chat? Burt Marmel, how about Jay Hannibal, Sports Hero, Naheem, Hunter, Arizona, Z-Man, I see you. Outlaw, we got Desert Vulture, our guy Shaft, Mondo is also in the chat. Boom Shakalaka, love that name, and 77 Far North. So many others in the chat as well. Can't name them all. If I could, I would. Would tell you, though, that this episode of PHNX Cardinals is brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. It's never ordinary. Download the Bet365 app today and use the promo code PHNX365 because when you do that, you unlock bonus bets. That's right. When you deposit 10, you bet 5, you get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. Once again, that promo code PHNX365.
Do us a favor. Get us to 350 likes today.
Whoa.
We would like that. I would like that. Anything more than that is fantastic. Do it for our friend Mina Kimes, we're gonna air that interview in just a couple minutes here. But first, we have to kick things off with this. So Bo and I were at the 2026 NFL Combine for the last several days. ALLCITY, PHNX Cardinals representing. And, it's not just what you see on air and, of course, what you see what's going on right now at Lucas Oil Stadium.
Yeah.
That the second part of the Combine, and probably our favorite part on top of doing these shows, is what happens behind the scenes and just the bevy of insiders that you suddenly have access to. And it's not just doing things over the phone and in DMs. It's face-to-face. It's conversations a lot of the time. And this is hard for your boy because I go to bed early, after hours, right?
Right.
1, 2 in the morning. And so we did our best to compile what we were hearing as it relates to the Cardinals quarterback search. And we'd be doing that anyway here in Phoenix. But again, accessibility is the name of the game. And, this is a two-parter. Number one, Kyler Murray is going to be cut, right? We're all bracing for impact. And we joked about it earlier today. Probably going to happen at like 10 p.m. on a Friday or Saturday night. So the Cardinals can lessen the blow, right? But that was one of the things. If we flew to Indianapolis with like a 10% chance that Kyler Murray would be traded, that's down to about 1% chance. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah. The percentage is lessening by the day because I think as far as just this market, it's solidifying a little bit. It's materialized and now it's like solidifying, and teams are kind of starting to slot into where they kind of figure out here. You're hearing the Dolphins and reality setting in for them. Are they going to just move forward with the former 7th round pick and Quinn Ewers.
Right.
Look, after much of a goodbye, it's welcome back to Aaron Rodgers probably in Pittsburgh. What's Atlanta going to do in the interim with Michael Penix?
Yep.
Holmes going to be ready to go. That certainly looks like it. So many, moving parts and so many variables, but we're getting a pretty good sense and being able to connect some dots here with the quarterback carousel that has yet to begun. But once it does, you better hang on for dear life.
Yes. So the names that we heard most associated with the team, and I think that you can put them in tiers, right? I think the first tier is like strong likelihood that they'll pursue is Malik Willis. And we had heard that from multiple people. We've, Mike Avrell has been on air with us. Tony Pauline's been on air with us, who had that initial report. Like since this time last week, what's materialized is the team's genuine interest in Malik Willis. Now, that doesn't mean that they'll sign him by any means necessary. That doesn't mean you get irresponsible with the money. That doesn't mean that Bo and I are sitting here. I see a lot of this. We believe that he's the person to take this franchise to the next level. We're only coming at it from a place of all the bad options, he's the most intriguing because he's young. He was a well-thought-of prospect once upon a time. He crashed and burned with a bad organization and got rehabilitated by Mike LaFleur's brother, Matt LaFleur. So, it's easy to say, okay, I'm intrigued by Malik Willis. No, I don't think anybody's going to say, print me up a jersey. Maybe they will, right, and I'm ready to rep it at State Farm Stadium. But, am I interested to watch if Malik Willis comes here with the weapons the Cardinals have, Bo? Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It'd be a fresh direction. It wouldn't be a retread, maybe kicking the tires on a guy that's a little bit longer in the tooth, maybe a guy that's retired and come back, or a guy that maybe should retire, in Kirk Cousins. There's a lot of question marks and red flags surrounding each and every one options that will become available for the Arizona Cardinals. But when you look at a guy like Malik Willis, like somebody in my comments today called him, what's the deal with this? Why do you guys keep on trying to spin this on a career backup? It's like, well, okay, that technically is right. He just finished his rookie contract. To label him a career backup after 4 seasons as a 3rd-round pick from, not a Power 5 school in Liberty, and, him flaming out with an organization that was a sinking ship in the Tennessee Titans and then kind of being a reclamation project right away from Matt LaFleur, as we've seen with Sam Darnold, as we've seen many times throughout league history, second act quarterbacks are a thing. And that's what NFL teams are trying to look for because it's not going to break the bank. And we've seen it work very often. It doesn't always work. For every success story, there's probably 5, disaster classes that go down. But the thing that makes Malik Willis intriguing is his youth, 26 years old, going to be 27 later this spring, and his traits. He's got very projectable traits. He's a dual threat. He's speedy. He's got a great arm. And in his sample size, he's performed. Now, you can't extrapolate that sample size. If you projected it out, the guy looks awesome. But you can't. The reality of the league is once you start to get out there more consistently, the league's going to get tape on you. They're going to adjust. Does he become a guy that can kind of take those traits, take those projectables, take that sample size, and put forth breaking through the glass ceiling of backup to starter and kind of take a stranglehold of this? He's going to be given an opportunity. He's going to be given starter money. But, is he going to be able to really kind of prove the people that bet on him right? That's the biggest question.
Yeah, as you echoed with Field Yates yesterday. It's as long as the money doesn't hamper this franchise, cripple this franchise, which I don't think it will, it's a risk worth taking. And you look at next year, so if you're telling me they pay Malik Willis a 2-year deal and they're bad next year, they can't take a quarterback. Somebody's gonna have to explain that to me. The Miami Dolphins signed Tua to a ridiculously bloated contract. I think 5 years last year. They're cutting him. It's Malik Willis for 2 years. I don't know. I'm with you, little bro, Das Libra. I don't think they will pay him over 30.
Right,
and that's okay.
The league they wisen up. Right? There's going to be a correction to these mega quarterback deals that we've seen, right? Because I think we've seen just as many bad as we've seen good, ones that have paid off. There's the bad initially, like Goff, the Rams got him to get out from under that. and they had to eat some dead cap while they sent him to the Lions, and it all worked out for all parties involved. And then there's like the stories of Russell Wilson, where they bite the bullet and they let him go, and then they draft a quarterback the next year, and it works out really well for the Denver Broncos. There was also a correction as far as taking these guys where there's not a lot of data and sample size things like Kevin Cobb. I know we've heard that name bandied about as far as this thing goes, or another kind of local ties product, Brock Osweiler.
Yeah.
That's why you're not seeing the length of these deals. Like Cobb was a 5-year deal. Brock Osweiler also signed, a 4 to 5 year deal. And it took those teams. I mean, the Cardinals just had to eat it, but the Texans had to slap a draft pick to get his contract off the books to the Browns. And like, you're seeing the league correct. It's like, that's why Sam Darnold's deal was set up like it was. That's why Justin Fields' deal was set up like it was, because the league was correcting itself from the previous mistakes from organizations in recent history.
So we'll monitor Malik Willis. Nobody is saying that it is our preference. I think if you're deciding between all of these options, I think you'd be kidding yourself to say like, oh, a guy who's getting all this praise and had juice coming out when he was drafted. This is not some no-name undrafted guy that's a byproduct of like Matt LaFleur's system. Like this time, and I tell this story, I said it on air earlier this week in 2022. I was at the Combine with Saul Bookman, and people thought he was going to be the first overall pick. And then there was a correction, right? And people worried about how it would translate from Liberty, and he went to a bad franchise in Tennessee. I mean, like if he had gone to like a Shanahan, a McVay, somebody like that, and Andy Reid, like, does he start and have success much sooner? Probably, or at least is flipped for a draft pick much sooner. I mean, he saved the Packers season last year when Jordan Love went out. This year, he was very respectable, had almost an 80% completion percentage. I'm like, guys, for this year, it's a 1-year deal, basically. Right. Because even if he's on the books next year, and you take a top 5 draft pick, guess who's starting? Dante Moore, or who insert whomever quarterback you like from that, Lenore Sellers or whomever. It's like,
right.
You're buying a starter for this year in the hopes that you're hitting the lottery. You're also doing that with a Tyson Bagent, because that was reported that the Bears are like, oh, don't take Tyson from us. We want him, but we want to do right by him. And there's a local report that the Cardinals inquired, and then we talked to somebody right before we left that confirmed that the Cardinals were at least inquiring, and that a lot of teams were inquiring, and that this individual that we spoke to felt very adamant that Tyson would be dealt. Right. But then you've got the Bears putting out stuff through the media today that only a second rounder would get it done. I don't know. If you ask me, and this is the next tier, I think of Tyson versus Malik. I think Malik is much more likely because of the ties, because of the familiarity, because of the lack of draft compensation that you'd have to pick. I mean, we've never seen Monti Ossenfort deal. That's not even a premium pick, like a 3rd or 4th or 5th rounder for a player.
Right. Just burn a pick.
Right.
Just send a pick for a player. Because I don't think the Cardinals have been in a position roster-wise to do that.
It's a good point.
Right? When you're a draft and develop team, where you find your players is in the draft.
Right.
When you're talking about second, and that's the beginning of a negotiation. Like the Bears started this week when Ryan Poles went up there, and he's asked about Tyson Bagent, and so is Ben Johnson. It's very, they're putting on a performance.
Yeah. Don't take him from us.
Yeah. We love Tyson. If in a perfect world, we'd have 53 Tyson, and he would be on the roster. Well, let's just say 52, because you got one guy in front of him right now, is starting quarterback.
Right.
He hasn't started behind 2 different quarterbacks, Justin Fields and now Caleb Williams.
Right.
But then they were like, but we want to give him that opportunity, and if it makes sense for him. But it does from a certain standpoint. He's controllable. He's cost controllable. And his 2-year extension kicks in this year, and it's through 2027. He's a good guy on and off the field, according to people who are very close to him that we've talked to, and that he just is. It'd be tough to replace. Like, you'd have to probably go out on the free agent market and sign another backup that you feel comfortable in, because we all know in this league you're one play away from that guy having to come in and play significant snaps. So yeah, Tyson Bagent, you're right. We were told that it's very realistic that he's going to be dealt. I think you should probably eye Atlanta more so than you should eye Arizona. And I'm with you. Like, Monti Ossenfort needs to use, of course, the 3rd overall pick, the 2nd pick in the 2nd round, and the 1st pick in the 3rd round to help add to this roster that still needs help. Like, you can't just burn any of those picks. So, of course, you would like to go give a guy more money, more so than have to give up the draft capital.
So G. Willikers hits the nail on the head of something we also heard, is that the pick is not going to be a premium one.
Right.
It's going to be a day 3 pick. And here's how I look at it. Like, would I sweat them trading for Tyson Bagent with the 4th round pick, which is like one of the top picks of the 4th round? No, because you also have to contextualize it. Would you rather have Tyson Bagent or Drew Aller, Tyson Bagent or Nussmeier? Because that's where those guys are going to go. Now, some of you might like those prospects more, and to each their own. But like, if we're sitting here and we're like, I can't be a hypocrite, even though Bagent's not my favorite option, and say like, oh, like, let's get a developmental guy when you could get Tyson Bagent for the same price, who has at least started NFL games and won some games. I think he went 2-2. And, you know, our friends at CHGO, I mean, I love them to death. I love them dearly. Carm and Greg Braggs and everybody, and Adam Hogue. They're what we like to call maybe too close to the situation, where they're having a tough time being objective because they believe Tyson Bagent should be a starting NFL quarterback.
Right.
Our guy Carm thinks he should have had an open competition to beat out Caleb Williams.
Right. And somebody, you know, I won't name names, but somebody said, I would give up the 2nd pick in the 2nd round.
Yeah, I bet you would, guys.
No thanks. Look, whatever Poles deal or gets in return for Tyson Bagent, an undrafted rookie free agent who came in this league at a Shepherd, it's going to be a win.
Yeah.
But can he maximize this? Can he take it as far as he can? The thing with Bagent is it's this offseason, because the 2027 class is coming, and probably just a more robust quarterback market, and it's tough not to be, is coming down the pike. So I think, like, if they were to try to get the best in return for Tyson Bagent, it would be this offseason.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, with Ian Cunningham, the assistant GM, who was part of the regime that brought in Tyson as an undrafted guy and helped develop him, and they've got a quarterback hole down there in Atlanta, I think he's probably one that'd be willing to not only gift his good buddy Ryan Poles a draft pick, but also bring in somebody he's familiar with to take over the reins in the interim before they have to figure out what to do with Penix.
Yeah, I think you're correct in your thought process with Atlanta. I think there's a lot of smoke there for Atlanta to do what the Arizona Cardinals are doing. These are all like 1-year tryouts, by the way. So don't be shocked by the sticker price with Malik and the contract, and don't be shocked when Tyson goes for a day 3 pick. All right, let's get to the name everybody wants to talk about, and it as it relates to one Geno Smith. Bo, you were there when somebody told us that they were in on Geno Smith. So, yeah. Bo, I put that tweet out right before we took off from Indianapolis yesterday, and Bo said I refused to retweet that. So just full transparency. But he knows we were told this. So even though he wouldn't allow that toxicity onto his feed, he would sit here and be a bold-faced liar if he said anything other than, we have heard the Cardinals connected to Geno Smith.
Yeah.
Correct?
When I originally heard it, I nearly dropped to my knees in the Indianapolis Convention Center and thrust my hands up towards the heavens and said, why?
Yeah.
And then you wanted to continue to just maybe stir the pot. I don't know what you were doing. You wanted violence before we were about to take off from Indy to Phoenix.
I keep the fan base educated. That's what I do.
This was Johnny. He was on his phone right there. I'm sitting right next to him in row 20 of our Southwest Airlines flight. And he says, I'm going to throw a Molotov cocktail into the Twitter streets, and then we're going to lose service here, and then I'm going to open my phone once I get onto the internet 30,000 feet in the air. Yeah, I mean, I can't believe it. Like, Geno Smith is where I will probably the few guys I will point to Jacoby Brissett and say, why don't you just roll with Jacoby Brissett instead
100%.
of checking in with Geno?
We heard them named to Jacoby Brissett. It is not a front runner by any means. Geno Smith has to be cut first from the Raiders, right? And they become just an outright free agent. I think that would be the ultimate, like, break glass. This is an emergency. we've struck out on everybody else. Like, I think if they get to a point where they're talking to Geno Smith and he does a visit, Bo,
the
offseason has already gone to hell in a handbasket.
Right.
Like, Malik's gone, Bagent's gone, Kirk Cousins is gone. So, like, I don't want to freak everybody out. Like, he's in a bottom tier. Probably a day too late for that. He's in a bottom tier.
He's in the Vance Joseph tier.
Right.
Like when we were talking about the coaching options. Didn't you say that? Didn't you tell me that?
Yeah. He's in the Vance Joseph tier.
He's the equivalent. He's the quarterback equivalent. Vance Joseph. It's a negative juice move.
The ultimate negative juice.
That's right. It inspires no hope except for the tankers out there.
Yeah.
That's the only people it inspires hope for. And I mean, he's already done it once. He helped the team tank their way to the top of the NFL draft to get the lone quarterback in the Raiders. That's where he's coming from.
Now, is there a reality in which you could get one of these other quarterbacks and still sign Geno Smith to be a part of your quarterback room? I guess, but like, why wouldn't you just keep Jacoby Brissett, who's making no money?
Yeah.
But like, we wouldn't be doing our job. This is where I'll defend my tweet if I hadn't put that out there, because we heard it right before we left, and it's from somebody we trust. And I'm like, okay, but because here's the thing, it's like, if I'm not saying this for clout or to prove that we're right, if they sign Geno Smith like 3 weeks from now, like, at least we all were prepared for this disaster. But again, I go back to my original point. Geno Smith will be the least of Monti Ossenfort's problems by the time he does that visit with him, because the rest of the offseason is toast, unless you plan on looking ahead to the NFL draft, where, of course, Ty Simpson spoke today, Bo.
Yeah, he absolutely did. What did Ty Simpson have to say about the Arizona Cardinals? We'll get into what's viewed as, well, let's do it right now. How about that? Ty Simpson. This was on his meeting with the Cardinals. This is Alan Saunders, who covers, I believe, the Steelers in the NFL. He was able to ask Ty if he met with the Cardinals. He said, yeah, I met with the Cardinals. The Alabama prospect said it was the first interview. Just super great organization. Mr. Monty, he's a great guy. Coach LaFleur is a super ball guy. Coach Hackett, all those guys, they love football. They're quarterback-driven organization because they're very familiar with the quarterback position. And I would love to be a Cardinal. I think that they're a great organization.
First of all, that photo of Ty Simpson right there, that just ain't it. That's the most punchable face I've ever seen. And I want to root for Ty Simpson. That's a bad photo.
That's a bit of a Manning face. That's a bit of a little Daniel Jones in that face as well.
Could we say, quick story? We were literally leaving Indianapolis in our Uber, driving past a hotel, and Fernando Mendoza was there. And I yelled at Fernando Mendoza, and I'm like, that's the guy this team should be choosing. But
Johnny had finally turned it off from work mode to just hang out, fun guy Johnny. And when you let your hair down, you decided to yell out the window, Fernando!
And he was like, hi, guys. Get me out of here. I shouldn't even be here. Put that graphic up one more time. No, let me see. Yeah. Let me see this graphic.
Yeah, let's break down these comments.
First of all, here, let me give you the positives. I love that comment. I would love to be a Cardinal, because how many people are saying that right now? You know, that's a nice thing to say. Ty, if this photo was better and we put on the highlights through October, I'd be like all about that. But look he met with Nathaniel Hackett. He met with Michael LaFleur. He called the Cardinals a great organization. I mean, that you know who probably loves these comments? Michael Bidwill, especially after yesterday. Like, no, Michael Bidwill was like, I like Ty Simpson. They're gonna be like, what do you like about him? I'm like, I just like him.
There's just something about him. For some reason, when I turn on the tape, I like it more than before.
Yeah, something changed since
even the college football playoff disastrous throws, and I love all of it. I mean, look at him, Mr. Monty. Calls Monti Ossenfort Mr. Monty. He's a great guy. It's probably because he forgot his last name.
Right.
Like, what was the guy's last name again? Ossenfort. That's what you got. Colin Cowherd call him Monti Ossenfort. And you got Coach Hackett, Coach LaFleur, Super Ball guy. Just the guy that loves ball. Super Ball guy. That's what Johnny's a Super Ball guy. It's just quarterback-driven organization. I mean, I like to hear that, especially when they're going in with very little clarity at the position that they just are a quarterback organization. But you're right. I love to be a Cardinal. I think they're a great organization. I mean, he said super great and a great organization.
I like the back half of this because it's clear, as people are pointing out in the chat. There's just a lot. There's this patronizing going on. There's a sales pitch. How would you feel about the quarterback room of Geno Smith mentoring Ty Simpson, Bo?
Do I have to?
Yeah. Well, how would you feel they signed Geno Smith in March, and then they like traded down, took Ty Simpson in like the teens?
I mean, here's what I think about Ty Simpson. I just don't. I hope he doesn't have to play wherever he goes.
Yeah.
Too early. He's very green, and he needs to chosen Simpson. I said like I see a lot of Rosen in Simpson.
Yeah, you have said that,
and I think that it would not be good for his development to see too much time year one. And I think Geno Smith presents obviously too much of that opportunity, becoming a reality. I would like to. I mean, and here I would if you got Malik Willis or Bagent and Simpson, one of those options, or even like a Kirk Cousins and Ty Simpson I could. That's something I could get behind. But no, I couldn't get behind Geno Smith, Ty Simpson. It's just not enough there to say, hey, we can win a football game, any given week.
I like this Fernando Mendoza from Timu. That's good. Timu Mendoza. So those are the quarterbacks right now linked to the Cardinals.
You ever go into a job interview with that too much enthusiasm? You're too complimentary.
Yeah, and then you do the thing where you ask questions to the interviewer to show you're interested. And we all know the playbook. I got that playbook on lock.
Right.
Ty Simpson's no dummy. He's no dummy. He's smart.
Right. What are my strengths? I work too hard. What's my weakness? I work too much.
I care too much. I just have a couple cool questions for you. Why are you guys so successful? It would not bother me if they drafted Ty Simpson as long as the third overall pick remained, solidified, and you didn't give up a first in 2027. All that to say, I think he's going to go in the back half of the first round, so you probably have to package picks 2 and 3. But then it goes back to your point. Ossenfort needs those picks to help this roster now. So again, Malik Willis, tier 1, Tyson Bagent, tier 2, Geno Smith, tier 50, and then we've got the Ty Simpson wild card. But they're not Ty Simpson's not going to dictate what they do in free agency. It's just like they sign Malik Willis and they like Ty Simpson. Go get them both. Right. We've got more reaction to what happened yesterday. NFLPA grades leaked just as we were leaving town. We're going to break it down and what it does say potentially for Michael Bidwill as it relates to the transformation of the facility. That and more coming up. So fired up to be back in the Valley. So fired up to see our friends at Circle K. Our friends got some deals for us. How about the current promotion? As a member of the Inner Circle, it's going to hook you up with a 79-cent Polar Pop, a 99-cent Froster. They've got so many good deals right now beyond the pump. That's what I want everybody to think about. Yes, Circle K is the place to go for premium gas and not a premium price. You're going to save up to 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. But beyond that, check out their general deals like the Bud Light, Bud Heavy, Michelob Ultra deal. 16 ounce of any select Bud Light, or Michelob Ultra is just going to be $1.50 each.
Wow.
They also got the Meal Deal Matrix, $3, $4, and $6. I might top myself off with the $6 meal deal. 2 slices is out. They're as big as your head. Any 20-ounce Coca-Cola or Pepsi product up to 44 ounces. And then, of course, tomorrow, on my way to my son's flag football game. How about meal deal, $4 breakfast Sammy and a hash brown and a coffee up to 44 ounces. Boom, $4. You're fed, you're full, and you're ready to go. Fill up today. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com, Bo, for more details.
Missed our Circle K while we were out visiting the Midwest, but it was nice to get back in there, fill up, and get some nice eats. Look, we're less than a week away. Yeah, that's right. Phoenix Raceway, it's all going down, but for the first time ever, it's more than just NASCAR. That season's in full swing. It's also the NTT IndyCar Series. They're racing the same weekend at Phoenix Raceway. That's March 5th. Next Thursday, things get started. There's nothing like race weekend. Engines firing, the smell of rubber, the crowd losing it in the turn one. And if you want the best access to motorsports, look no further than down the road in Avondale at Phoenix Raceway. You can get yourself, of course, the upgrade to the Desert Diamond Casino infield experience, garage access, track walks, meeting the drivers, and a pre-race concert. No sports fans get closer than this. And remember, like the stars were out last time. Sydney Sweeney was at the track. How about that?
Wow.
You never know who you're going to see out there. You can camp all weekend. You know you're going to see something special. Maybe you'll see Kyle Larson return to the track where he won it all just months ago. History is being made regardless. It's March 5th through the 8th. You want to say that you were there. Get your seats now. PhoenixRaceway.com. You can find a link in the show notes.
Hit that like button if you like NFLPA grades. We do. We've been big supporters of them continuing to do it. I think you can make a very strong case that the Cardinals are getting a new facility because of the NFLPA grades. And, of course, it was announced that they were not going to be made public. They were only going to be made private to teams and, I believe, players. Well, that process went off like a fart in the wind because they were immediately leaked, which thank the football gods, because, again, either have them or don't have them. But if you're going to have them, give them to everybody. And ESPN, and apologies, the name of the reporter escaped.
Caitlin Taylor.
Yes, got it first, but then, Benjamin Albright, a bunch of people had them. So it wasn't just ESPN, but ESPN put together a big old shebang on their website that had everybody's grade and eventually got everybody's individual metric. And the Cardinals, Bo, they moved up a spot. They went from 32nd to 31st. And full transparency, and Bo will echo this. Until this facility is built, we expect the Cardinals to suck at this. They're going to be bad for a while.
Yeah. And look, we knew where they were going to fall short. Some of the things they can still help themselves with. And I think that's where this kind of exercise, this conversation should kind of focus on. When we take a look, and let's bring them up as far as the NFLPA grades. So the Cardinals up one spot, and everybody likes to joke around and say, way to go. We're not dead last any longer. And that's true. The team that ripped our hearts out so many years ago, they get that spot. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're dead last. The Arizona Cardinals, I think, as far as they were third worst as far as just GPA, if you were to add all this together. And our guy Noah broke it down. Look at this. It's fantastic. It's got 2026 versus 2025. So Cardinals, it's the status quo, not great treatment of families, D plus here. That's same from 25 to 26. Or I'm sorry. Yeah, 25 to 26. I think this has a lot to do mainly with the just sideline pass opportunities. That's what I've heard. I know they added after the first PA grades came out that there wasn't like a family room at the stadium. There is now. The food dining area, there's progress. It's up from D- to C-. It looks about the same. I would imagine that also comes into like the actual cuisine that they're eating. Nutritionists remain steady with a B. Gannon and Ossenfort overhauled that. The locker room, as you were saying, Johnny, this is going to stay the same thing until 2028, until they move into their brand new world-class facilities. It's an F-. It's their lowest grade. We'll get to their second lowest grade here in just a bit. Training room is going to be a D- all the way through if it doesn't get worse. Training staff up from a C to a B-, just a little bit of an upgrade there. Weight room somehow is up from F to D+.
Nice.
That's good. That's good. I mean, the first time they got an F- because it was a safety hazard. So, from F- to D+, maybe they put in a new Nautilus machine. I don't know. You got strength coaches up C+ to B-. It's good to see there. Somehow team travel took a hit from B to is it C- there?
Yeah.
I've heard rumblings about a Wi-Fi issue, and now people are going to be shocked because the stadium Wi-Fi is top notch, that the Wi-Fi in the plane might not be great, but they've got their own plane. So maybe it has something to do with maybe the arrangements as far as lodging where they're staying. I don't know. Head coach Jonathan Gannon, Johnny. He went from an A to a B+, but he was tied for the highest grade as far as these rankings go and these grades go on the team report card. Of course, Jonathan Gannon not retained. We're going to skip this one. Home game field. People always want to make a big fuss about the Cardinals turf. It got to be. Players don't see him have an issue with the State Farm Stadium turf. These are all new additions that we're going to go through here. Position coaches, B+. Not a lot of them retained. Offensive coordinator, not retained. Now the Lions OC, Drew Petzing, B-. Higher grade than defensive coordinator who was retained. Nick Rollis, C+, or a C-. And then special teams coordinator Jeff Rogers got a B. And general manager Monti Ossenfort got a B. And then back up a little bit. Ownership went from D to F. Michael Bidwill getting the only F of all the NFL owners.
Cardinals were the only team that didn't get an A at any spot. However, somebody just pointed out, we'll get to the super chat now, Mike LaFleur got an A as the Rams OC. Yeah, we'll take it. He's ours now. Guilty by association. Hooray. This is exactly what I expected, give or take a grade or two. I'm glad, I'm happy for Jonathan Gannon that he at least was a B+, although somebody pointed out like most coaches got an A. So it is what it is. This is my take. Could be a polarizing take. Michael Bidwill got an F. He's gotten 2 Fs and a D since they started doing this. I don't know how much time the players spend with Michael Bidwill. My guess would be very little. But my guess is that the players, rightfully so, are correlating the shitty facilities and accommodations with Michael Bidwill. So maybe, and I'm sure this is what he's hoping, is that when the new facility is built, that people will say like, oh, I love coming to work every day, and so ownership must be good. I have no idea if that's the case. Maybe he's around the players and he turns them off. I don't know. I also think it's correlated to what you talked about, sideline passes not being enabled, accessibility for families. I think if you correct those things and you get the facility built, his letter grade's going to go up. So if I'm Michael Bidwill, I'm looking at that and I'm just like, okay, what do we need to do? Because it's like you're the only owner really that consistently gets an F. Like Woody Johnson, for instance, got a B-. Woody Johnson, who's been an F owner before. You can turn this around. Right. I wouldn't worry about your grade. Okay. Your grade is what it is. I would fix the other things that are fixable and hope that it reflects then your grade. Because like here, people are going to call me showboy, whatever. The Cardinals have never hesitated paying good players, paying great players. That's not an issue, right? They've offered players high money in free agency. My guess is, and like the stuff with Michael Bidwill, and I'm not condoning this, by the way, happened with like administrative people in the office. That's not who they're polling. They're polling players. And the players are likely sitting here thinking, this facility stinks. I had a better locker room at Western Kentucky. My family can't get a sideline pass. And, maybe the daycare facility could be spruced up. Like, handle those things and then let the chips fall where they may, with your ownership grade. That would be my recommendation to him.
It's a tough look. And as you said it a couple times, it was something that we were expecting as far as the Cardinals, where they were going to come in there, right? I mean, I think a lot of us were surprised they just weren't 32nd and knew that this was going to be an uphill battle until 2028 when the facility opens up its doors, despite showing the willingness and the investment in that. It was just going to be tough to overcome, F- as far as the locker room. Yeah. I mean, what are you going to be able to do in the interim? Are you going to be able to like put some nice chairs in there?
Also, I got to confirm too that they encourage players, don't look ahead to what's coming. You have to judge it based on this year. Right. All right, go ahead.
Right. And it's, when they ownership, as far as what it's looked at in the past, as far as these report cards, is willingness of owner to invest in the facilities and player-related resources, contributions to a positive team culture, commitment to building a competitive team, and just kind of overall support for player welfare and workplace conditions. So once again, you're up against it with the facilities. But the optics of all of this, less than a week after team owner being asked about why he hasn't hired a team president and then doubling and tripling down like, I am the team president. And the team president doesn't get a grade here. So you can only just assume that the owner, as owner, Michael Bidwill is getting an F. He would get an F as team president. It's a tough look, just to say, like, and you've got to take it upon yourself. And I'm not here to give out advice for Michael Bidwill, but you got to take it upon yourself to change those optics, especially within the walls of the organization. I mean, he's paid Trey McBride. He made him the highest paid tight end in NFL history. Like, it's kind of random who gets pulled here and who submits their report card.
It is.
Is Trey McBride going to give Michael Bidwill an F? Like, is he going to get an F? But it happened enough to where that grade got as low as it possibly could, outside of an F minus. It's just, the incident board, unfortunately, it hasn't gotten too many days removed from having to start back at 0 days without incident.
All that to say, this is a good thing. I know you're taking it in the teeth and you're like, man, I wish that this franchise was different. This is how you make them change. This is how they're being forced to change. Like, the Miami Dolphins stink as an on-field product, but they're number one. So their owner's probably like, nothing to change, nothing to do.
Right.
The Cardinals, it's a twofold. Not only are you bad on the field, every year there's media, negative press that's going to come out and tell everybody and their mom, every free agent, every executive, that franchise is the worst. That owner is the worst. If that doesn't compel them to change, and by the way, I believe it has and it will continue to. Like, this didn't exist when Bill Bidwill ran the team.
Mm-hmm.
And I would imagine he would not have liked it.
Right.
And if you're a fan, like my dad was growing up, and you just read about things kind of secondhand. I mean, there's no internet. It's just like, you just had to endure how bad your franchise was.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to hold them accountable was few and far between. They know now this is accessible as long as they do it. And, hopefully they don't remove it. The NFLPA sent out a blurb yesterday to teams, like, stop sharing it. It's like, it's going to get shared.
They got furious.
Right.
They're furious. The NFL was furious that this got out.
Too bad. I don't feel bad. You know what? I congratulate all the other franchises that have success. They can be pissy about it. Like, Cardinal fans need this. Browns fans need this. These fan bases, we take L's every year, every Sunday for 17 weeks. And then there's one day of the year the organization has to face the music. Like, deal with it, tolerate it, improve. And again, people are going to call me a shill. They are. They were going to slap a coat of paint. And they were doing more than that. In Tempe, they're putting $200 million in a premium state-of-the-art facility in North Phoenix and Scottsdale. Yeah. It's a game changer. It's an absolute game changer. We glazed about it, as somebody put in the chat that day that they broke ground. That does not happen without these grades. These grades, keep them coming. Give me all of them.
If they can weather the storm, and I know it's not going to make people super giddy inside, but they can weather the storm and get back into the high 20s, get into 2028, because they're going to get the report cards are going to leak again in 27 if they don't get completely shut out and squashed after this, and they're going to get released in 2028 before the facility comes out. There are things you can do as far as this treatment of the families, the food, and then of course the coaching staff, where Mike LaFleur, can he keep his grade? Can he be an A student again? Can Nick Rollis cook the books and get himself up to a higher grade than C minus? Nathaniel Hackett is a non-play calling OC. Like, I'm sure that's pretty easy to get high grades. Like, you should be on your way to getting out of the, striking distance of dead last. But
they'll never get out of the 20s until the new facility is built.
But you're going to have to, I think it would do them a huge service, huge positive if Bidwill can do everything within his power to make his players happy.
I mean, like, the consensus now is within the NFL media, which is, it's crazy that Woody Johnson, if I was Michael Bidwill, I'd call Woody Johnson, be like, how did you do this?
Great idea.
It was just like, how did you get your players to give you a B?
Mm-hmm. Did you bribe them?
Right. It's like that kid who was like a failing student. Suddenly he's on honor roll. It's like, what did you do? Who has the answers to this test? We call him immediately, because to me, like the team grade doesn't matter right now because of the facility. If the facility was not in progress of being built, then we would be much more upset about this. But you and I knew this was coming. We were surprised they weren't. Honestly, swear to God, we were surprised they weren't last.
Mm-hmm.
But the worst optics of this, and it cannot be argued, is that every year Michael Bidwill has to endure that. Based on this ranking, he's the worst owner in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
If I was Michael Bidwill, I'd be like, what do I need to do?
Right.
I mean, like he said recently, I think it was at the groundbreaking ceremony, that feedback is a gift. I mean, like, it's gotta be hard for him every time these NFLPA grades come out. Like, do you want to take the mantle from Snyder in Washington? Do you want to take that as the worst owner in the NFL? I don't think he does. And like, I'm shocked. Like you and I were talking about it, like Carolina's owner is not lower.
Mm-hmm.
The Browns owner is not lower. Haslam, people hate that guy. You know, like Michael, it's in his best interest to be as pro player, pro family as possible. Like the fan base is what it is. You're gonna have people upset until this team wins, and rightfully so. But like, the players are your employees. You should want to make them happy.
Right. NFLPA grades, man. It's going to be fascinating to see what happens next. I mean,
don't get rid of them.
But did the PA, did they screw up by making them way too easily accessible? Like I think they just put them on the player's site, and the players just I think either like forwarded them on or something like that to reporters out there. It was just way too easy. It was just like
literally broke.
Screenshot. Here you go.
I loved it.
Like, do they open themselves vulnerable to just get this thing completely squashed? But I don't know, if you truly can, like, is the Players Association too strong to even take that away?
It's too powerful now. And here's what I'll tell you, Bo. Most of the franchises that were struggling rebounded this year.
Mm-hmm. Like Washington, look how high Washington is and how short of a time it took them to get to just completely launch up the board.
The Chiefs have made a comeback. As we talked about, the Jets have made a comeback. The Cardinals are one of the few teams, like the Browns, they're in the bottom tier. And like, we live here in Arizona, there should be no reason people are upset about being here. Nothing.
Right.
Well,
you can't be bad on the field and then also bad here as far as, your players kind of perceive you to be. Like, you can't be like the Browns where you're bad everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because now the people are aware of it and they say, well, that starts at the top.
I'm never going to be like player empowerment like the NBA. I think the NBA has watched that whole thing, but I love this aspect of player empowerment because and again, like, fans should not have to worry about if their franchise cares about doing what it takes to win. When you're invested so much in your franchise, and it's like, but does my owner care enough about it to spend on a weight room? It's like, what?
It's fascinating to me, or it's intriguing to me. Like, when the Cardinals went into their bye week in 2024, they wanted to keep the team fired up. So they announced this new facility plans. And like, the players were all made abreast of that. Mm-hmm. And then like the season finished, right? And it was 2-5 down the stretch. They missed the playoffs. And then the next offseason at this time, they finished dead last. And they've got these failing grades across the board. And then there's like this quick reaction to let us know that, they're going to renovate the Tempe facility and this and that. And then we're told differently that no, this new facility, they're working on, buying some land up in the Scottsdale, North Phoenix area. And then that news comes out, in June? And then, this information, like it's all well known, and the renderings are out and the players are made aware of that. And that's supposed to go towards and be looked at as a positive to the owner, and the owner's, poll rating goes down.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of players are like, "What will I even be here when it gets done?" And to be fair, it's not helping you right now. It's not like you're going to Tempe today if you're a player.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to North Phoenix. Draft picks of tomorrow. Will Reese, Avrell Reese, go to the new facility? How about that for a team? Will Reuben Bain go to the facility? Mina Kimes joined us on Radio Row yesterday for an in-depth breakdown of Kyler Murray, the Cards' 3rd overall pick, and should the team tank the season. That interview around the corner. Do not miss it. Hit the like. It's PHNX. Hit that like button for our friends at Mountain America Credit Union. Everybody needs a good checking account. How about an account with built-in bennies, benefits, that is? Mountain America's My Style account has the perks for you, including restaurant deals, mobile phone protection, telehealth access, identity protection, loan rate discounts, offers on travel and events, and so much more. Make My Style your lifestyle at Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/mystyle to apply. Again, right now, fun facts about Mountain America Credit Union. They've been around. They're an institution. They've been around for almost 100 years. They opened in the 1930s. They've got not 10, not 20, hundreds of branches across Arizona, Utah, Idaho, Montana, and Nevada. And they've got 1.2 million members. How's that for a referral? They're ready to go. So should you. Again, visit macu.com/mystyle to apply. Insured by the NCUA. Membership required based on eligibility. Some benefits require a no-cost registration activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions may apply.
You want to feel safe where you keep your money. You also want to feel safe when you are browsing the interwebs. Look, quick shout out to our friends over at Surfshark. Surfshark developed humanized privacy and security solutions to safeguard your data. Privacy online. Think of a VPN like wearing pants. When you step outside, always important, keep that stuff covered. You know what I mean? Once you connect to the internet, Surfshark encrypts your activity, keeping it hidden from snoopers, trackers, and anyone trying to peek at your business. Keep your pants on, friends, with Surfshark. 2 things I love about Surfshark. First, one account covers unlimited devices. Password sharing is encouraged here. You got to love that. So your phone, your laptop, your tablet, even the whole household, all protected without juggling subscriptions. And second, they've got that 30-day money-back guarantee. You can try it out risk-free and see how it fits your daily routine. They also offer Surfshark Antivirus, Search Alert, and Alternative ID to give you even more protection online. We all need that. Go to surfshark.com/PHNX and use the code PHNX at checkout for 4 extra months. That's right, 4 extra months and a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee of Surfshark VPN.
Program returns. It's Mina Kimes of ESPN, of course, the Mina Kimes podcast featuring Lenny. Mina, welcome back to Indianapolis.
Arizona native is how I prefer to be introduced
Yep.
when I do your guys' show.
I have to say, I was targeted. You influenced me on social media. I hold, and it's not the burden in my household, but I break down the boxes.
Oh, it's a privilege. I love doing it.
But I did get the tool that you were utilizing. I did.
I should have done an ad for that.
That's what I thought it was.
I posted a video. No, it wasn't. I was just, my husband got me a box cutter for Christmas, I think. Which
an electric box cutter.
So many husbands were in the comments were like, or boyfriends were like, I bought this for my girlfriend. I'm like, I hope that I didn't influence a breakup. Jeez.
Do you have a similar recommendation for quarterbacks? Did you do an ad for that for the Cardinals?
Oh, it's a tricky spot. It's a tricky one. I don't know if this is the year to go all in on any quarterback. It might be a little bit of a take your lumps year and focus on building out the team. Personally, I've seen a lot of Willis as a potential, who I do like, but Yeah, I'm not, especially in that division, I do wonder if you might be better off serve just kind of treading water a little bit at the position.
Yeah, I don't know where even to start with this because it's like Kyler's still on the roster. It just feels like it's inevitable he's going to be cut in the next, 7 to 10 days before the tampering period. When we look back at this, we've been very pro Kyler. I know you've been a supporter of Kyler Murray. What do we look back at the 7 seasons that he's been in Arizona?
I think people forget some of the real highs. I mean, there was 2020 was when he was like, an MVP candidate. I even 2 years ago, I swear he wasn't. He was pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel like it wasn't even that long ago. But the injuries have obviously, that's kind of the thing, the biggest thing. And obviously, I would say inconsistency as well. Such high highs, and then there'd be 3 games where he looked amazing, and then 2 games where he looked like a completely different player. And I think ultimately, that's why, he didn't live up to the #1 overall pick. I still think he has potential in this league. And I think for the challenge for Arizona is, can you actually get better this year versus what we've seen from Kyler the last 3 years? I think that's pretty challenging. In the long term, next year's draft, and it's always next year's draft, but, I do think, there is that's why I got to go back to what I said at the beginning is I think the patience might actually serve this team well.
What's a logical landing spot for him? Because we talk about it at nauseum. Like you could try to force yourself if you're Kyler's camp to say, well, I can take a starting job with the Jets or whomever, especially if Arizona's fitting the build for $50+ million. He could sign for $1 million. But would he be better off doing the Baker Mayfield Darnold route where he goes to like a Liam Cohen for a year or an Andy Reid and sits or spot starts and then re-enters the market next year?
I think he should take a job where he can at least compete for a job this year, personally. And I actually, if I were him, would prefer that over a Jets or whatever. Like, I would say Minnesota, Pittsburgh, and Atlanta are the 3 teams, if I were him, that I would go for. And, in those spots, he's not obviously not Pittsburgh he would be. But if it was Minnesota or Atlanta, that's a competition. But if I'm Kyler Murray, I'm betting on myself to win that competition.
A lot of the fan base wants to take what you were outlining there is just not completely tanking, but with an eye towards 2027.
Yeah.
Gannon leaves. He's 15-36. That's done. But Monti Ossenfort's still in that building. He's got this high wire act. He's got to show some sort of like the needle pointing in the positive direction here. How does he do that? How does he show that urgency, but also, not saddle himself up with just some, big swings here that could take them down, whether it's winning too much but not enough or, bad contracts.
It's a tricky spot because Arizona, the roster is not that bad compared to other non-court teams that don't have quarterbacks. So you're not and I feel like, some of the young players too on the team have flashed, and then there's been last year a lot of draft class injuries was obviously a big part of it, but there was moments where they all looked great and then they just didn't play enough, and then you saw some regression from some of the other players who look good early on in their career, recent draft picks. So I think for him, it's not just about this year. I think the players that you've acquired over the last 2 years have to show some improvement too, especially last year's draft class, because I liked a lot of the players they took. You really want to see, okay, full season, Walter Nolan, can you live up to the highs that we saw? Because I was very impressed by him.
Let's talk a little bit more about Malik Willis, who obviously has got the ties to Mike's brother, Matt. Nathaniel Hackett was there. He's now in Arizona. Monti Ossenfort was in Tennessee when they drafted him. I like the measurables and, of course, like the arm strength and all the advanced metrics. Can he do it for 17 games for a team? Yeah,
I think it depends on the build of the team and the offense. The way I see Malik is it's actually kind of similar to Jalen Hurts. If you have a strong run game, which he is obviously a part of, and he's a better runner than Hurts at this point, and then so you get more of those single high coverages. He throws a gorgeous go ball, and again, similarly to like Philadelphia and what we've seen at times with Hurts, then you start. It's like, okay, well, this offense is based on the run primarily, and then he can take advantage of that. But if you can't run the ball I would get worried about him.
Yeah.
So I think from Arizona's perspective, acquiring him, it's like, can we also improve the run game?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%.
Like I wouldn't want him to land with a team that can't run the football.
Right.
And again, he will help a lot more than Kyler, honestly, too, as well.
Yeah.
But if you can't run the ball, I don't like the fit at all.
Let me see if this would get you going as somebody who is a NFC West fan, and it's this offseason, right? Say it's Malik Willis at the quarterback spot.
Okay.
You lean all into Michael Floor on the offensive side of the football. Third overall, you take one of these tackles, maybe a Maui Noah or a Fano. Obviously, you've got McBride and Wilson, a 1,000-yard receiver. Hopefully, they can get some more out of Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, does that do anything for you? I mean, as far as the Cardinals?
Maybe add like a middle class back. There's a lot of really good backs in free agency who won't cost a lot of money.
Like
I
Kenneth Gainwell, somebody
Kenny
like that.
G is one of my favorites. I like Rico Dowdle. People were making fun of me for that last night at a party. I was like, I think he's really good.
He's got 2 back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons for 2 different teams.
He's just good. There's like the top guys like, Hall, Walker, I guess ETN probably in that group.
Yeah.
But the next group, there's a lot of really interesting players. And I think, if you're Arizona, I would rather go that route and add him on, but focus on the trenches, both sides, honestly.
Let's talk about this draft, then we'll get you out of here. So generous with her time. Subscribe to the Mina Kimes podcast featuring Lenny. It just feels like we're lacking those traditional blue chips
in this draft.
Like we're joking around with our friends from DLLS. Like we're talking about the same players at 3 that they're talking about at like 12.
Right.
Yeah.
For the Cardinals.
Right. Yeah. I hear you. I don't know if I agree with that, actually. Like, I think I don't think there's like a Micah Parsons or, but I do think the top 6 or 7 players are a cut above.
Like who do you like specifically?
I mean, where you're picking, if I would take Reese in a heartbeat.
Okay. You're not worried about the transition to be an edge rusher? We've been burned by Isaiah Simmons of the world.
He's not Isaiah Simmons. He's not Micah Parsons, though, but I think you take him if the Jets were to go Bailey.
Okay.
If Bailey's there, you take Bailey. You're actually in a great position. I think it's weird for, like, the Giants at 5. No, you know what I mean? Like, when you're getting outside. But, like, with a player like Reese, my feeling is, like, you just have to have a plan for his development, and also you have to find ways to make sure he's on the field early on as he works on developing his pass rush.
Yeah.
He's so good against the run. He's so good dropping into coverage. He's such a smart, fundamentally sound player. He's an amazing tackler, and his athletic tools are insane. Like when he does win as a rusher, it's mostly because of that, right? So with proper coaching, I feel like the ceiling for him is so high, maybe the highest of any defensive player in this draft, candidly. But you have to have the plan for him. But he's not a Collins or a Simmons or whatnot. I guess I can see why, though, in Arizona there's some
And Raleigh State.
apprehension.
We have PTSD.
Right? I mean, if Gannon was there, people were like, this fits Gannon's system. Is like, but Raleigh he was the holdover in a weird way. They were actively, interviewing his replacement, and then he stays at DC.
They took a look at Carl Scott, who's a great coach. I was surprised.
Yeah. Well, it's no surprise. Mina Kimes, of course, brings it on a daily basis. The Mina Kimes podcast featuring Lenny. And but as she said at the beginning of this, of course, Arizona born and bred.
I am. Gilbert, I saw Brock Purdy at the Super Bowl, and we did a Gilbert. There's so few of us.
Yeah.
It was a nice moment.
Unbelievable stuff. Well, great to see you, Mina, and thank you so much for joining us.
Bye, guys.
Good stuff there from Mina Kimes. A lot to kind of break down there, Johnny. Where do you want to start? You want to start with the Kyler stuff, the Malik stuff, or the draft stuff?
I want to talk about Avrell Reese, Vel Reese, because that to me is, I think, the most interesting, because I think the Cardinals are in a unique spot where, like, Monti Ossenfort should not have to pay for Kime drafting 20 off-ball linebackers. Kevin Minter, what they did to Hassan Reddick's development. Of course, Isaiah Simmons most famously in the top 10, and then, of course, Zaven Collins, who's still hanging around the franchise. That being said, I do think that there's a responsibility if you're Monti, and you and I talked about this. Reese is 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He's got limited pass rush snaps. Reese to a franchise like the Giants, where Harbaugh's got all the cachet and their timeline might be different. Like, that's one thing. Reese to the Cardinals in a season where, like, if you draft Reese 3rd overall, he better be a flippin' edge rusher starter from day one. We better go to training camp and it's Sweat on one side and Reese on the other. If you're dicking around and he's over there with Cody Simon, people are going to lose it. They're going to absolutely lose it, partially because he's got a peer in this draft who plays traditional off-ball linebacker who could be way better than him. So I'm not going to sit here and say I don't know more than Mina and the people that study this, and they say, no, trust us. This is different. But I don't think anybody should feel bad about saying, what are we doing? Wait a minute. And the only reason I give this legitimacy, number one, is this class in general, and number two, the university. The Cardinals have multiple coaches on their staff from Ohio State. Monti Ossenfort, rightfully so, is infatuated with the university. They've drafted the most Ohio State players, I believe, since Ossenfort became the general manager. This scares me, but it's a real possibility.
I don't know if it's a real possibility. I really don't. I mean, the 20 years old thing. He's really young. He's too green for me, and you're asking him to come and play a non-premium position to start.
No.
Or compete, because I think they would give Cody Simon the opportunity to play. I mean, they've talked about Cody Simon and how he played in his rookie year. They wear that kind of as a badge of honor. And then you've got Mac Wilson under contract as well. There's not enough linebacking snaps or off-ball linebacker snaps there to merit it, plus the less than 100 pass rush snaps that he played at Ohio State. He's not a pass rusher. You're going to ask a 20-year-old to come into your building and drink out of a fire hose again, as different as he might be as a prospect as far as the path to being an impact player. It's just as rocky of a road as it was with those other guys. And I'm not signing up for it. I'm not willingly signing up for it. Here's what as far as Avrell, Reese, Jeremiah Love, and Caleb Downs, and maybe now Sonny Styles, who, hold on. My God, let me make a point here, please. Sonny Styles, who had a 10 RAS score with an unbelievable performance. You can't deny that, despite him being an off-ball linebacker. Can you create enough intrigue to where there are teams that want to maneuver the draft board? But you can't look at it as an option for your team, because your team it doesn't have the luxury of taking those players.
They don't. I'm looking at the camera right now. If Francis Mauino is watching this show, we need you to save this franchise right now. We need you to put on a workout and a performance here over the next several days that we cut the BS here and we get back to basics and we get serious, please. We're Francis Mauinoa and Spencer Fano bad measurables away from disaster. I know Mina likes pick 3. Everybody we talk to, it's like they're going. That's right. Save us, Francis. They're going to have a tough time. That's why I'm like, well, then just take Jeremiah Love. Like Jeremiah Love's going to exit this weekend. Consensus 1 or 2 best player in this draft. He's going to put on a show. We know what position he plays, right? I mean, like if you're talking about taking Reese and he's going to see some snaps at off-ball linebacker, like what are we doing? What a disaster! Like, do you agree that if David Bailey's there at 3, he's the logical pick for them?
Yeah, I mean, there's some great reps yesterday. I know that people are making fun of him trying to change directions and stuff like that, but I think there was more as far as just the tape with Bailey and most of the measurements in the workouts that he did, the drills that he did. There's more good than bad. The 40 was what 4.51 for David Bailey. You were right there. The broad jump, fantastic. Right under it was 10.9, right under 11 feet, which is a big drill for pass rushers. Like I said, the measurements it's all there. It's like you had a pass rusher you built in a lab. There's no issues as far as arm length. He graduated in 3 years from Stanford. There are the 2 incidents that happened post game that you have to take into account. You can't disqualify him. Can't discount him, especially after last draft and what happened this offseason and what's alleged of James Pierce. So look, there's there's no definitive consensus pick right now, 2 or 3. But with these performances, you're going to have to take into consideration that, and obviously people who know football very well, like Mina Kimes, you can't just kind of brush it off because the Cardinals, there's no right answer right now at 3.
And then a name we haven't spoken about because, frankly, I think he's plummeting is Reuben Bain Jr., who did not work out. If he's hurt, that's one thing. If he's just choosing not to work out now, I think that's a bad decision. Here's what I'll commend Reese is he worked his ass off and looked good in drills. And he looked fluid in space, right? But that's not football. And I would rather have Reuben Bain than Reese. But I mean, it's not like real football.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter what Bo and I think about Reuben Bain Jr. I don't think the Cardinals are going to take Reuben Bain Jr. with those arms.
Yeah. It would be unprecedented, literally unprecedented. I liked what Trevor Sikkema said. He was more of a proponent for Bain, but I'm thinking more Trev and Field Yates in their take on the 2 tackles in this draft. And it's that you're going to look at this draft and you're going to say, it's Maui Noah, or I think they call him CC Maui Noah, not Francis. And you've got Spencer Fanu, depending on what your run game or your run scheme is going to be. These are guys that you would say, I would take them 3rd overall. I'd probably be more comfortable taking them 8th or 9th overall. But are they good players? Are they going to be guys that you're not going to have to worry about? Are they second contract players? And sure, it's not franchise-changing caliber players, but are they good football players? And do you have to just simplify it that instead of trying to make these non-premium position guys into something that if they're not, you're done. You're more cooked than you ever were.
The Cardinals got into camp with Isaiah Simmons and knew they made a huge mistake. Huge mistake. Remember, he didn't even play for Vance Joseph. Now, part of that was on Vance.
Mm-hmm.
He had a miserable camp, miserable start to his career. They play him at slot corner. Remember that? Oh my God! Here's what I'll say: people are out for Monti Ossenfort right now, and I get it. At least he's been consistent. It's been premium positions for the most part. We've loved all of his drafts, especially his 1st and 2nd rounders. I mean, maybe he didn't get the person right, or not the person, but the specific player right, but he got the position right. Wide receiver, defensive tackles, edge rushers, offensive tackles. He'd take a quarterback this year if it's available. Yeah, we need these tackles to perform. We need Maui Noah's arms to not be Reuben Bain. I mean, I think we've talked about Maui Noah if he's got 33-inch arms, we're in good shape. Everybody who wants Jeremiah Love, I get it. I understand it. I support it. It would be unprecedented. I just, with this franchise right now, Monti Ossenfort, I don't think would be willing to take that caliber of player. I mean, even I'm trying to coax, somebody, Sikkema over to my side thinking, because he loves Jeremiah Love. Even he was like, they can't do that.
Yeah.
Even he said that. So,
yeah. I mean, perfect world for me. I can't remember who told it to us. It's not my own idea. Is that you move down within the top 10. It's just the pick swap between 3, let's say just 7, 6 or 7 or 8, and you get a future 2027 asset. And then you take a tackle.
I disagree.
That's my preference. You're crazy if you wouldn't take that. Yeah. You're insane.
No, I'm right there with you, supporting you.
Thank you.
I disagree that
I felt it from the very beginning.
No, I disagree with people saying you can't trade down. Are you getting value of years prior? No. But if you're Monti Ossenfort and it's could you get a second in 2027 to go from 3 to 8 or 3 to 7? You could just take your tackle there.
You could still get a future first.
I don't know, man.
I mean, Cleveland has 2 of them, I think, in 2027.
I'd be telling people,
right?
I'd be waving that flag saying, hey, guys, we'll listen to anything. We're flipping desperate. Look at me. I'm desperate. Look at my face. My Ossenfort. I need some juice.
But that would debunk the idea of Monti Ossenfort is this lame duck GM this guy that's only going to be making decisions to keep his job, where he would be setting up either himself or somebody else for success beyond 2026.
What player can they take that's going to be
I'm
there?
saying with the future pick.
Yeah, I still think Michael Bidwill would look at that as a net positive. Because I think, like, if you're Monty, it's like somebody else may love Sonny Styles or somebody else may want Reese. Let them come up for them.
But it's for those people that are looking at the Malik Willis potential investment and the not trying to tank just to save your job, and saying like Monti Ossenfort is just going to do what Steve Keim did and torpedo the future of this organization to try to save his gig, where it's just like, no, like not only is he getting a plug and playable potential pick in this year's draft, which would fill a glaring need, and then also set you up for what's shaping up to be like a 24 class where people are really excited about it. You add an asset to that class like you did in 23.
You might disagree. I feel like if you're sticking and picking and you're living and dying by this year and what your record is this year, the most impactful player he can take to impact this year is Jeremiah Love.
No.
Yes, it is. For this year?
No. You don't have an offensive line.
I don't know.
You do know that. They don't. They've got Paris Johnson and Yelda Froholt. Everybody else is a wild card.
I think you could take, Paris as a rookie was solid. Wasn't great. I think if you take Francis Maui Noah, like we have realistic expectation, like he's going to be okay this year. I don't think he's going to be, maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but Jeremiah Love comes into the NFL and you expect him to have like top 5, top 10 back production. So I don't know. We're splitting hairs here. I think we're on the same page with this.
We are. I felt that way.
Like
every time I thought you were going to comment.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Take an offensive lineman at this point. We were like very much in the camp. If Reuben Bain and David Bailey were 1A, 1B for teams, then take one of those two. This Reuben Bain scenario has screwed us. It's really unfortunate. And now Reese has re-entered the equation, and it's like, bro, I don't even know what position you play. Can you calm down with these numbers, with these numbies? The rest of Mina's interview was fantastic, but again, like I'm not going to sit here and act like I know where Kyler Murray's going to end up, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Monti Ossenfort isn't going to try to save his job this offseason.
Yeah. Maui Noah and measured before, I believe it's 33.5-inch arms.
That's fine. That's more than fine.
Yeah.
Like Jacob saying Reese was a ghost against real teams. Here's my slight pushback to that. And again, 6.5 sacks. This Ohio State defense doesn't get talked about. Like, it's one of the greatest defenses in the history of college football. Like, I misspoke yesterday. I said they only gave up 20 points in one game, and it was against Miami.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't even give up 20 points. Their quarterback threw a pick 6 that game. So they didn't give up 20 points all year. But Jacob, I think it's closer to they have 2 elite off-ball linebackers and an elite safety and then some really good underclassmen defensive line. I feel like, for me, like there's no Nick Bosa on the edge for them. If there was, that'd be the pick.
Yeah. Will Campbell's arms were 32.5.
Okay.
And then he later measured at 33 at his pro day.
Sure.
Just like the Reuben Bain thing, Schefter tweeted out, he's like, actually 2 teams had Reuben Bain's arm length at 32 inches and everybody else had sub 31. It's like, my God, I hope the Cardinals weren't one of those teams.
Yeah, I think those teams play in the USFL. I don't think those are NFL. He didn't specify if those were NFL teams.
Right.
Great stuff. Let's jump into your super chats.
Let's start with yesterday's. We've got 7 from yesterday.
Yeah.
The pre-recorded show before we got out of town. And we've got thank you to everybody that contributed yesterday. What do we got, Noah?
We have Duff Guy 1234 goes, how much for Johnny to do a full send live?
Well, sadly, no monies because I was unable to do that on Radio Row because I want to keep my credential. I mean, like, there were some loud people, but nobody just outright screaming the way I would need to.
You become a little shy.
Shy boy.
Yeah.
We got Jenga Man, super disappointed that you guys didn't ask Monty, and I quote, could I get a screw Drew? Also, thanks JV for getting me excited for a running back round 1.
No problem. Hey, Monty, can I get a screw Drew?
You know what's really fascinating about our trip to Indianapolis is the football person that I saw the most was former Cardinals offensive coordinator Drew Petzing. I think I saw him 5 times.
He was everywhere.
And it was like, then this is an indictment of his appearance, but like just the relationship with the fan base and this podcast now, it was like a legitimate jump scare every time we saw him. It was
maybe for you.
There's Drew.
No, the first time I saw him, I was walking with Johnny. We were at an establishment.
Don't tell this story.
No, and I saw him. We caught eyes. And so I went over and I shook his hand and asked him how he was doing. He did the same thing. And Johnny, Johnny was gone. Johnny had just kept moving.
I saw him out of my peripherals. I knew what you were about to do. I decommitted and I'm like, I'm not doing this. And I just walked straight as far as I could go until the bar stopped. And then I turned around and waited until you came back. Wasn't going to do it.
Didn't even know that part of the story. It makes it way worse. Keep it going with the super chats from yesterday, Noah.
You got Brandon Webb saying tried 3 super chats yesterday and it didn't work, but that was the day YouTube was having some issues. He goes, how's Bailey? And it'd be 4 AZ2 JV mock like trade down to get 5 and a tackle and trade into a first and take Jeremiah Love. AQ team president, PMS pub.
Wow. A lot of good stuff in there. I heard Jeremiah Love. I heard of trading down, getting some additional picks.
Some Pat McAfee show. Is that PMS Pat McAfee? So some love there for McAfee. So he likes AQ Shipley, wants them to be promoted from radio color analyst to team president.
Here's the thing about AQ Shipley. He came on our show and kept it real. So I like AQ Shipley.
We got Adam Hurst.
What was the question about Bailey, though?
Excuse me. He said how ballsy it'd be for AZ2 JV mock like trade down to 5 and get T tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right. It's a good super chat. Sorry that you had the problems before. I'm sorry to anybody who had problems on that day that YouTube was struggling. Yeah, keep it going.
We had back-to-back super chats from Adam Hurst saying the same thing twice. Jordan Love, no matter what. Or Jeremiah Love, no matter what.
All right.
It's going to suck because like he's going to go to a team in the top 10 and he's going to be great. And he's going to be a Pro Bowler and he's going to be a 1,000-yard rusher pending injury. And like we're going to compare it to the Cardinals pick. Stinks. Everybody told me, he's like, Johnny, you can't do that. It's irresponsible. I'm like, okay.
Arizona Cardinals, $4.99. Field Yates talked about an eat your vegetables pick for the Cardinals, unlike Johnny with his green beans at St. Elmo. # green bean gate.
It's funny. Like I was eating them and then I just kind of stopped because I had gotten like disinterested. It wasn't because I was not hungry. I actually switched back because I didn't eat any bread before my steak for obvious reasons. And then I went back to the bread. And then the waiter just came up and like, I'll finish here. And like took my plate. And then people were like, oh. It's like, come on. We're not doing this.
No. The first time a waiter came and said, can I get the green beans? And you said, working on it. And then he came back a little bit later and then you handed him his plate.
Yeah, I was just kind of disinterested with them at that point. I was done with them.
I think it's more of an indictment on your eating cadence. And you just can't find any kind of rhythm because you're struggling probably through just the entire process.
You tried to get us to share jumbo shrimp.
Yeah.
And we all said, no, we're adults. We're not doing that here.
No,
I ate my full
that's the wrong
shrimp.
way to break it down. No, what did you think it was necessary to have 4 shrimps in your shrimp cocktail?
No, I thought, honestly, once I was on number 3, I was like 2 would have been perfect, and it would have saved me
Guys,
probably
rehearse this before the show.
$20.
Hold hands while you're doing it. I ate shrimp, lobster bisque, and a 12-ounce steak. It's a full meal. Sorry, everybody. I'm not a professional. I'm not Joey Chestnut over here, guys. Jesus.
No, you're Joey Peanut. The 90s Poppy. Coward thinks we should trade 2 firsts for Mendoza.
If that's all it would take.
Dude, I listened to that, and it was so contradictory. It's like the Raiders aren't sold on Fernando Mendoza. Is that right?
That's stupid.
So they should trade down, but Fernando Mendoza is the Cardinals' solution at quarterback. And they should give up how many first-round picks?
Just this year and next year.
Oh, just 2. Right. It doesn't seem like – I don't buy that Jordan Reed told us like he'd expect the dinosaurs to come back before Fernando Mendoza isn't the first player off the board.
I mean, didn't we spend like weeks on this coaching search? And they're like, well, they have the first overall pick for Kubiak, and they're going to pick Fernando Mendoza. It's like,
right.
Dumb.
Last one from yesterday. It comes from Jason Bird. John Middlecoff is on point. Target emoji, 100% emoji. Thank you for speaking reality.
He's a great guest. He's a great football mind, and it was cool to sit down there and just kind of watch him go.
He's an elite podcaster and somebody that we respect in this game. And again, like we'll respect people who rip this team 10 times on Sunday because I've seen him rip the 49ers when they deserve to be ripped. When Jed York was firing Jim Harbaugh, I've seen call a spade when it's out there. But the Cardinals, to get praise, they got to earn it, and they haven't earned it lately.
Jumping into your super chats from today. Thank you for everybody that participated yesterday. How about TJ became an official PHNX supporter club member? Thank you, TJ. Welcome to the community. I know you've already been here, but it's official. Let's jump into the super chats. How about Das Libra?
The little bro.
That's right. Welcome back to the Desert Boys. I'll be joining you in about a week. Hopefully, we will know more about our quarterback situation by then.
Yes, I would hope that it's resolved this time. Is Kyler Murray cut by this time next week, Bo?
If not on a week from today. An old Friday news dump type thing.
They'll wait till our show's done, and then they'll do it.
Yeah, we were watching Ian Rappaport speculating, and he's maybe setting everybody up. That next week is going to start to kick off some quarterback carousel craziness with Tua and Fields and Kyler. And there was one more we got to add to it. Kirk Cousins. Like those guys all could become pre-free agency free agents.
Yeah, no doubt. And again, Kyler Murray to me wants to be cut sooner rather than later, so he can get a jump start on this market.
Do you need to put that into some story? Try to get some more run out of that. Even though it's just the logical thing. Das Libra, think that super chat is tripping. It wasn't tripping. I mean, I know it doubled down, but everybody got the point. Appreciate it. How about Brendan Terrell? Any truth to the Cardinals talking to the Browns about trading Marvin Harrison Jr. there? I hope it's not true.
0%. Marvin Harrison Jr., number one, you're not trading him unless it's for a first rounder minimum. And number two, who came on our show this week and said Kevin O'Connell is great with wide receivers? Or Kevin O'Connell, Mike LaFleur. Was it Milkoff? Somebody told us that Kevin O'Connell is great with receivers. So they're not giving Marv away. Like you've always said, like, why would you sell the lowest on Marv? Now, if you're like done with him and you want him gone and you're going to try to turn around and flip him, that's one thing. But I don't get the sense that the Cardinals want him gone. Like I could tell you, like Drew got frustrated with him, but Marv and his family got frustrated with Drew, and Drew's gone now. So,
keeping it going here. How about Libertarian Sasquatch? Malik Willis is Matt Castle 2.0.
Matt Castle went to the playoffs. Sign me up for that. Matt Castle won a lot of games. Kansas City went to the postseason with Todd Haley. That's no issue with it. No issue at all.
I missed the drops. How about is this Orange Panda?
Mm-hmm.
If Willis fails, it won't kill the franchise. In 2027 draft is stronger at quarterback. I prefer Mac Jones, but I get why the Niners would never do it.
Logical take. And again, anybody sitting here and they're like, oh my God, Malik Willis for $30 million in 2020. It's like, guys, calm down. Can we calm down?
What was that voice?
It would be a front-loaded deal. Most of the guarantees would be in year one. And if, let's say, it gets up to 30, that's 10% of the NFL salary cap that was just announced today. 301. I know, like, you're taking the 55 or the $50+ million dead cap money from Kyler, but that's already kind of accounted for when you look at how much his cap hit was going to be this year. So it takes away $2 million from your current cap situation, which you can free up even more with some pretty easy moves.
5-year one more time. Just go with Jacoby. No, we're not doing that. B Money, $4.99. Went to college with Malik and watched him play in person. He's electric, humble, and a high character person. Hashtag go get him. Like, anybody who doesn't say that the biggest referral for Malik Willis comes from Matt to Mike is a moron. Like, people, the athletics reporter, the Browns are going to go after Malik Willis with zero Todd Monken wants a quarterback like Malik Willis. They'll go after him. With Dylan Gabriel and Shador and Deshaun and no cap space and no wide receivers and no offensive line. I don't know if they're going to sign Malik Willis, but get the Browns. Tony Pauline Levy, get the Browns out of here. I don't want to see the Browns near Malik Willis for Malik Willis's benefit. Stay away.
Das Lieber's back. If we go Geno, my season tickets will be donated to Bo and Johnny Venerable.
We'll be live. If they sign Geno Smith and don't do anything, it's like Geno and Drew Aller. We'll put together the tank graphics this spring, and it'll be the March for Arch. That's what we'll be doing.
Imperial March for Arch.
How
about keeping it going with Miles? LaFleur got an A on the OC grade. That's right. You pointed this out when we were breaking down the grades.
That's like
Miles,
your buddy doing your project for you. You're like, put my name on that. Cardinals like, put my name on that.
How about another supporter club? That's right. Sports Hero. Welcome, Sports Hero. Look at that. Malik Willis in a Cardinals uniform type profile pic.
Does Malik Willis wear 7?
He did for the Titans.
Sorry, Jacoby.
And at Liberty.
Excuse me, Jacoby. We're going to need that number, please.
It's like that the Walmart video where the guy rips the shirt off his back. How about Ranger? What's going on, Ranger? We love Ranger, but the Steelers win and they're 32nd, but that's okay because they win.
That's true. Their owners are like, suck it. We haven't had a losing season in 20 years. Eat it.
You don't have old crutch Mike Tomlin anymore, though. How about this from Jacob Tackett? If we draft Reese or Styles, I'll be out on Monty.
It's hard for me to argue that. If they draft Reese with the intent on playing him at edge rusher, you would need a firm commitment from Nick to do that, right? You would have to sit Nick down and be like, Nick, this is the plan. Are you okay with it? And what if Nick's like, I don't see it?
I'd have concern with just the plan in general.
Right. It'd be bad.
Yeah. Brian P. News on Bailey's character red flags. Welcome back. Thank you, Brian. Great to be back. I think it's something that obviously needs to be continued to be vetted. It wasn't a big topic of conversation. I was there for his entire media availability. And it hasn't been something that's really like truly followed him. It didn't impact him as far as his run to the college football playoff. I know that there's an incident here in Tempe, and then there was one in Raleigh. It's not nothing, but I don't think the NFL is taking it too seriously.
Not everybody can be Boy Scouts. Sorry. Sometimes you need a little bit of edge. I don't care if you got into it with an official in college, whatever. I'm sick of losing my.
Man, it was after ASU. It was after ASU upset them.
Yeah,
I think it was an alleged hit cameraman of some sort or assault of some sort.
I think it was it Shane on the sideline? talking
Wish
a
it
little
was
crap.
Shane. Wish it was Shane.
I mean, you can't be hitting pedestrians.
Yeah,
You can't be doing that.
Thanks, Johnny. It's like me talking to my 4-year-old. You can't
Don't
hurt
hit.
anybody. Yeah. Oh, man. How about 77 far north? Malik, Jacoby, Ty. Late rounds of still available. Quarterback sorted. Francis or Love at 3. Hard choice. Thoughts?
I mean, Malik Willis, when you have Mina Kimes saying he's a better runner than Jalen Hurts, and if you had Malik and you had Jeremiah Love, and you're just like, we're just going to run it up your you-know-what every Sunday, I'd be all for that.
If
That's
they
like
had Malik, I would say if you want to be a good run team, I would still lean on taking the offensive lineman. But I thought that was very interesting what she had to say. I mean, as far as, and that's what the offense you ran with Kyler. But here's what I'll say as far as Malik. Malik's deep ball passing has been absurd in his sample size. He's got a very strong arm. He's more of a guy that's currently trending as far as his deep ball. And if that's where you can really play into the play action, you can play action with Malik too at 6'1". There's just a lot more things you can do with Malik Willis right now.
Also goes without saying, he's a much bigger athlete. He's not huge, but he's bigger. He can be tackled in the open field, and you don't have to hold your breath. That's not a knock on K1. It's just reality. Lil KZ official, $2. Do you think Kyler will get cut on draft day?
Got to be before draft day because that mid-March guarantees that kick in. So it's going to happen soon. Little KZ.
Dave from Nevada, $5. Glad to finally be a member. Thank you, Dave. We appreciate you. Glad to have you part of the group, my guy. What is the most realistic trade down scenario for the Cards to have this draft? Should we gain capital for 2027? I think it's like we outlined. Here's what I don't want them to do, Dave, is like trading down from pick 34. I think they need to make that pick. I think if you're able to trade down, it should be from 3 to just secure. If you're like, we need a tackle, we're going to take a tackle to go from 3 to within the top 10 and take a tackle. I think most people would understand if Monti Ossenfort got one or multiple picks for 2027. Because I don't think anybody's like, you would have to do it. Think about it, Dave. You'd have to do it with the Giants who have their quarterback, or Commanders, or New Orleans, right? These other, or the Chiefs. You're uniquely positioned with some of these top 10 teams to have QBs. These other franchises are hoarding their picks for next year. I think that's why people think there'll be very little movement.
Keeping it going. How about the Frank? Do you think the Bears would take Zaven for Bagent?
No, I do not. Do I think Zaven Collins is like a tradable asset? I mean, like, not a particularly high asset, but like his salary is low and he's a player that doesn't miss a lot of time. I wonder if his time has reached an end in Arizona. Like, I don't see enough production. I know people are like, he's a great run blocker or run preventer. They got run over last year. I don't.
Avrell loves him. That's what would be tough unless like Monty's like, I'm taking this away from you. Ranger. I told you guys Bain had T-Rex arms and now JV and Bo shocked he is falling now. LOL.
I didn't want to believe it, Ranger. I always look and try to see the best in people, unlike Bo. And when that happened, I was like, no way. I mean, it's just, my dad sent me an article since we've done the show. Like, people are writing articles like, there's no way he's going to be a top 10 pick. He's going to plummet. It's historically bad. Poor guy. Super nice guy when we saw him at the combine. Super nice.
Yeah. How about we got a brand new, or not brand new, how about a month? Voss Louis. Thank you for that loyalty. How about love the show, boys? Thanks for helping me stay sane during this wild off season.
I've had a blast this off season. We're exhausted. We joke we haven't seen our families in forever, but like, think about where we were 2 months ago. Gannon was coming back, and now it's like Gannon is gone. NFLPA grade disaster, groundbreaking ceremony, Malik Willis. I mean, we got some juice. We got a little bit of juice.
Appreciate that, Voss. How about Alpha Sigma Q? We got Bain arms too short, Bailey too stiff, and character concerns. Defensive guru Nick shaping Reese future. Love first in Freeling or Max in the second.
There is a point to be made. How many more resources are you going to give Nick Rallis before he has to prove it? And I would also, and I like Nick, I would be worried about, like, this isn't Vic Fangio or Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles said, I'll make Dale Buchanan work when nobody else in the NFL post Todd Bowles could really make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Reese with Nick, there's not a precedent for that. I mean, who has Nick really developed? That was a big reason Gannon got fired. Who they developed defensively.
Right. Keeping it going here with the Super Chats. Some great points, by the way. Little KZ official. What's the QB class next year? Starting with Arch. You've got Lenore Sellers from South Carolina. You've got Manea from USD. Sam Levitt might be in that conversation. We'll see how things play out there.
Dante Moore
back at Oregon. There's a lot of options, but they still have to have good seasons next year. And just like Fernando Mendoza, nobody was talking about him at this point last year. So who could emerge too? The kid
of Ohio State as well.
Yeah, Julian saying the kid that went from Duke down to Miami. Is it Mensa?
Yeah.
Good prospects.
Iron Will, a very generous $10. Good to see you, Iron Will. JV, I had an hour-long argument with 2 AI models defending Love at 3. They ended up convincing me that the OT is safer and more solid pick than running back from a collective history and NFL wisdom. First of all, thank you for that insight. Have you ever seen the guy who creates like arguments on Instagram with these AI models who are like, please date me, let's go out? It's like, that's hysterical. I didn't know those were real though, but Iron Will, point taken.
And the last super chat that we have right now, Brian P's back, trade back with the Chiefs. They'll think their first will be in the 20s in 2027. They're finally striking distance of top 5. Is 9 too far back for right tackle?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
you may not get Maui Noah.
Right. But also, like, your run scheme is dependent on that. And both Field Yates and I think Trevor were saying, like, Fanu might be the better fit. Keeping it going. How about Hunter Gallagher? The Cardinals are starting Brissett. Let's not forget they are cheap.
They're not cheap with the salary cap though. They spent I think the third most money in free agency last year. We saw Monty. He didn't tell me this, but I looked into his eyes. That's a man who's desperate that's going to spend money this offseason. I would be shocked if Monti Ossenfort didn't empty the clip in what could be his last offseason. Like, what's the point? By empty the clip, I mean spend all of his money in his salary.
Yeah, we got you, buddy. We appreciate that question, Hunter. We appreciate everybody.
Why is this music playing? What's happening here?
Make sure to hit that like button. It does wonders for us, gets us in front of more people, more Cardinals fans out there, and builds this community. It's already the best as far as the Cardinals fan base goes. Thank you so much to everybody that made trips like Indianapolis possible. We couldn't do it without you. And thanks to, of course, leadership here, our guy Espo making things happen as well. And Johnny picking out a great spot out there in Indianapolis. Fantastic. And way to finish your steak. It's a non-talking point at this point. Great week of shows. Brian P, JV, LOL. Maricopa's most wanted. He remains
out of that town.
Can never return to that town. But we've got great content hitting, of course, the YouTube streets this weekend. Make sure you subscribe. You got alerts set up, and you'll be notified once they drop. Fran Duffy, we talked with our draft analyst. If you missed that, Mina Kimes, it's going to be there for you to check out as well. But barring any breaking news, which is very possible at this point.
Dear God, please no.
We are on Kyler watch. We will be live with an emergency podcast if anything breaks. But unless that happens, we'll talk to you Monday, 4:30, right here on PHNX Cardinals. Talk to you then.
We all silly like the mayor.